Well, I have a confession. I did not like the MG Comet at first. However, I have to accept today I am in love with this car. Well, what makes me say that? Here's my detailed long-term review of the MG Comet after spending close to 2 months and a little over 2500 kilometers on the odometer. You are watching Cars 24. I am Nitin Kadian and here's everything I feel about the MG Comet. So without further ado, it's time to get started. But for starters, in my opinion, something which is very subjective matter और हर एक इंसान के साथ काफ़ी different opinions आ सकते हैं, that is the design and the looks of the MG Comet. Despite our varied opinions, I think we all will definitely agree on the fact that the Comet, it is something that looks different, something that might feel radical, and something which, in my opinion and in opinion of a lot of other people, might look cute from some angles. But one thing that I definitely want to say, despite the compact dimensions, despite this very different, very funky design language, there are a lot of elements, a lot of styling elements that give it a very premium and an upmarket feel. For starters, you get a DRL that runs across the length, you get the LED lights, the throw of which, let me be very honest, is really nice. Move to the sides and you'll see generous use of chrome, the large ORVMs, the short tires but very stylish covers on them, and I would say a not so proportionate look does give it very different yet a very commanding road presence. Well, things at the rear are slightly different than what we see at the front. The design, it does get slightly busy. What you get are a lot of badges, starting with the big MG logo right in the center, followed by a Comet badging and the Internet Inside badge on the right and a big bold EV badge on the left. You also have loads and loads of chrome at the rear, an LED light which is running across the length, and in all, I think this is one of that car that definitely is very compact. It's something really nice if you intend to use this inside the city. This is one such car that will keep you very happy in terms of the overall ease of driving and obviously the practicality that it has to offer for you. But to start with, the first impressions of the MG Comet has always been great for everybody who has entered the car. You get a very premium to hold, very nice to look 2-spoke steering wheel, with the audio controls on the right and the options to control the MID or the screen, the central screen on the left. What you also get are 2 large screens, one for the instrument console, second for your infotainment system. A lot of things of the vehicle, related to the vehicle, can be controlled using this infotainment screen, and both these screens are really nice to look at, very easy to use, and I think definitely gives this cabin a very upmarket feel, at least with the design and I would say the layout of the cabin. What you would be also appreciating is the minimalistic layout of the cabin. The central console looks simple and I think is very functional, very easy to use. Even on the ergonomics front, the AC vents are placed on almost a very nice spot. You have 2 cup holders on both the ends. The instrument console is nice to look at. The stalks, the indicator stalk and the wiper stalk is well within the reach of the driver. And one thing that definitely stands out is the large glass area, which gives a very good visibility from the driver's point of view of the outside world. The walk-through cabin, it makes life really easy. If I'm parking on a very tight spot, I cannot open this door. Well, it's really nice and very easy to actually move out of the cabin. So things sorted, I think the dashboard, the features, the overall layout is something that would be impressive enough for you. But if I talk about the seats, well, the seats, they look good. They offer decent support. If you are somebody who's not of the average size, you have a wider frame, you are slightly taller, the support and I would say the comfort level is something that's not the best in the segment. My home to office run is close to 2 hours, and after spending 2 hours inside this cabin, what I do feel is the under thigh support and the lumbar support is something that could have been better. So in all, if you're somebody who would be spending close to 30 minutes to an hour in this cabin, you're not somebody who's very wide, very large in size, these seats, they'll be keeping you very comfortable. With that being said, there's no dearth of space inside the cabin. There's enough leg room, the headroom is nice. Even if there are two adults sitting on the front seats, the shoulder room is enough. So on that front, I think in the terms of the space that is offered for you, there's no dearth, you'll be happy. But the comfort level is something that could have been better, and that makes the only issue that I can see in this car, at least for the front passengers. Another thing that I would want to tell you are the doors. Now the same door is being used for the rear passengers. You'll be folding down the first seat and you'll be moving to access the second seat, but that does compromise on the practicality front. If you are opening the door, I'll be definitely requiring to have a lot of force to open the doors. Also, I'll be requiring enough space in the side of the vehicle to open this door, because this door requires some good amount of space to open up. But on that front, I think that's something that MG could not avoid, and this 3-door layout of the car is something that is one of the USPs of the Comet. Now, how is the second row? Well, we'll be moving to that, and I think you will be definitely be in for a huge surprise with the experience that I have to share for the second row. So the second row of the MG Comet might give you a very big surprise in terms of the overall space, in terms of the overall comfort and the ease of actually stepping into the second row. Unlike the exterior dimensions of the car, which are really compact, there's enough space inside the cabin. The front seat, it has been adjusted as per my driving position, and I normally drive in very relaxed position. And despite that, for your reference, I stand 5'10". I have decent amount of leg room. I can actually stretch my feet. The headroom is decent enough, and I think one more person of almost a comparable size should fit in really well. That being said, the under thigh support is almost zero. You sit up in a very knees up position. The recline angle is so and so. So in all, I think for the short city commutes, if you're planning to spend close to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I think this is a decent cabin. If you are actually planning to spend some longer hours in this seat, I think you might want to reconsider that. And if you really want to use this seat, keep it reserved for the cousin you really do not like. If you're actually wondering about the boot space, well, this is what you get. This is not the best you would actually want, but there's enough space. This is, let me tell you, quite deep enough. So you can keep a couple of bags, maybe some poly bags or something. But I think this space is best reserved for the charger of the car. If the need is there, you want to have the boot space, you have a very nice option of actually folding down the seat. There are 3 people sitting inside the cabin. You have a large bag to carry. I think this gives you a real nice practicality. You have generous space available. And I think the split folding option is really nice to have. You want more space? Well, let me tell you that you can also split fold the second seat. And what you now get is a boot space which is much larger than many of the compact SUVs out there. So I think if somebody is requiring a lot of boot space, somebody who's wanting to carry a couple of bags inside this car, you do have an option, provided you only have 2 occupants sitting at the front. Now moving on to the most important part of the MG Comet, the driving experience and the overall dynamics. Well, I've always said this, the visibility from the cabin inside from the driver's seat, it's really nice. So you have a very good view of what is happening ahead. That really helps in overall city driving. What is also helping you while you drive in the city, when you are driving through very dense traffic, you are parking your car in the tight spots, is an extremely right steering wheel. Yes, do not expect the best of the feel or the feedback from the steering wheel, but what you'll definitely like is the overall weight. moving this vehicle, maneuvering it through the tight spots become really easy when you're actually using a car with such light steering wheel. But that being sorted, the visibility, the steering, the ORVM, the IRVM, that is also gives me a very good view of what's happening behind the vehicle. And in all, I think at least on this front, the ease of driving the car, I definitely give the Comet a very high score. Overall, if I talk about the acceleration, the brakes, and the performance of the car, there are three driving modes: the Eco, the Normal, and the Sports. And as the name suggests, you get a different version of the performance of the different characteristics of this vehicle. In the Eco mode, this throttle, it may not be very responsive, but I think for most of the part, while you are negotiating the city traffic, you can actually stay in the Eco mode. That helps you extract maximum range from this vehicle. So move to the Normal mode, and that's when you will be realizing the throttle gets slightly more responsive. You also have a higher top speed, a top speed of close to 100 in the Normal. The acceleration becomes faster, and I think this mode gives you a very good balance of performance as well as efficiency. If you're somebody like me who would want to push the vehicle hard, well, I'll talk about the dynamics at the higher speeds later, but at least in the acceleration terms, you are requiring brisk acceleration from this vehicle. You can obviously move to the Sports mode. That's where you'll be getting the maximum performance, but be ready to actually sacrifice on the overall range when you are pushing that vehicle that hard in the Sports mode. Now coming to the dynamics. The Comet, it's a compact car. The wheelbase is not very long. The track is obviously not very wide. The height of the car is really tall. So in all, I think given the compact dimensions and the overall dimensions of the car, the dynamics part is something that takes a direct toll. So you go hard on the throttle, you move fast, you cross that 50-60 mark on the speedometer. That's when you will be realizing the ride is not flat anymore. There would be a lot of vertical movement. The small tires, they are somewhere not as good when it comes to maintaining the composure of the car at the higher speeds. Push the vehicle hard into the corner and body roll will be felt a lot. If you're actually missing the older versions of the Scorpio, well, this is the car that will definitely remind you of the body roll that car used to offer for you. But the negatives are the suspension. While it does tackle most of the bad roads, when you are very hard on the throttle and you are going through the very bad patches of the road at higher speeds, that's when the suspension would start to struggle. That's when the suspension would start to make lots and lots of noises. So in all, I think this is the car that would be really good if you are planning to drive it sedately, planning to drive it inside the city limits, keeping the driving enthusiast in you. Very happy is not the case. Comet is ready to face. Apart from that, dynamics sorted, the brakes are sharp, they are responsive. The regeneration is again something that you will be definitely appreciating, especially in city traffic. Let go that throttle. If you are in the highest level of the regen, you are not required to brake very frequently. And this is something that I've been starting to appreciate during my office to home travel, and of course back to the office. If you're wanting to know, powering the MG Comet is a single motor setup which is capable of delivering close to 42 bhp of power, 110 Newton meter of maximum torque, and this whole powertrain draws its charge from a 17.1 or 17.2 kilowatt hour battery pack. The claimed range is obviously over 200 kilometers. Real life, you can expect close to 180 if you are very attentive towards the throttle. If you are somebody who likes to push the car very hard, expect close to 140-150 kilometers on a single charge. One thing that I definitely would want to tell you is these figures are with AC running. Obviously, you can extract better efficiency if you are hyper-mining, if you are keeping the AC switched off, you are using the regeneration more. So on that front, I think I personally know a lot of people who are managing to extract a range of close to 200 kilometers from this setup. That was more of the driving experience of the Comet. Well, if I talk about my personal impressions, what I feel about this vehicle, the Comet is a car which would be appreciated for the compact dimensions. Of course, you cannot drive it really fast. You have to be sedate on the throttle. You cannot be attacking those corners really sharply. That's when the occupants also will start to feel uncomfortable inside the cabin. The steering, it's built for a purpose of taking you from point A to point B. The driving enthusiasts, the people who would want to push their cars very hard, but this is a car which is not made for you. With all that being said, moving to the first part of the video. Well, I said this is the best car money can buy today if you know your needs. Well, talking on that, the MG Comet, it's that car that would be definitely fitting in your garage if you require something which is compact, which is really easy to drive, something that can take you from place A to place B sans any drama with the maximum ease possible, and something that requires a lot of planning. With a claimed range of over 200 kilometers, well, in real life, this would be returning close to 150 to 180 kilometers, of course, depending on what your usage patterns are. This is one car that if you are just charging properly would last the week long with just minor charge top-ups. So if you know your needs, you are requiring something which is a very good, very practical city commuter. You are not looking for a highway commuter. You're not looking for something that's really fancy or would keep the driving enthusiast in you very, very happy. The Comet is a great choice for you. So apart from that, for those looking for a car, in addition to a primary highway car, which is meant for the long distance comfortable travel, for those long weekend getaways, the MG Comet as an additional car in such garage is a real nice fit. So the cabin, it is feature rich. There's no dearth of space despite the compact dimensions of the car. The practicality more or less is sorted. It's a real nice, easy to drive car for the city commute. What you'll be missing out on is a fast charging option. This is one such car, I think, which would have been almost perfect under 10 lakh rupees if this had the fast charging option for you. The second negative that I might not say is valid for everybody or most of the buyers is the comfort factor that comes with the car. The seats, they could have been slightly more comfortable. They could have offered better under thigh support, better lumbar support. But apart from that, I think many of the people who actually stepped inside this car did not complain of the comfort, but they definitely appreciated the space and the overall ambience inside this cabin. The third might not be again a very big of a limitation. The limited range, a limited boot space, not so practical rear seat experience. But I think for the buyers looking for a city commuter, for the buyers looking for a car to complement their primary car in the garage, for the buyers looking to complete their two-car garage, I think the MG Comet can be a great add-on, and the small minor nitpicking is what I'll say shouldn't matter to the buyer. So at 10 lakh rupees, would I personally buy the MG Comet? When I first saw the car, I guess my answer was a definite no. But after spending so many weeks with this vehicle, so many days driving this, commuting from my home to the office, sometimes chilling on weekends with my friends, sometimes obviously driving it slightly aggressively, taking it to places, taking it to the busier sections of Delhi NCR, I think I am convinced that at 10 lakh rupees, while it may not sound very value for money, this is a car which would be definitely be a great add-on in my garage. So yes, at 10 lakh rupees, if I want something which is compact, a great city commuter that's cheap to run, easy to drive, the Comet will definitely be a strong consideration in my life. With that being said, what do you think about the MG Comet? Do let us know in the comments box below. Stay tuned to New Cars by Cars24 for all such interesting automotive reviews, automotive discussions, travelogues, comparisons, etc. I am Nitin Kalyan. We'll meet you soon. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy.